everybody does have their own lives. So I think what we'll do is I will, since I kind of see on my screen a grid of people, I'll start introduce myself the way, hopefully, to model it. And then I'll kind of mention who to go next, because I'm just going to go down the row of what I see. Everybody's rows are probably different, but so, I'm Andrew. I work physically at the Northwestern State University campus, which right now it's in my utility room. In my, you can probably see paper towels behind me. I graduated from Western Kentucky University with my master's. Just finished my PhD coursework at Indiana University. But don't let that confuse you that I'm from the North. I'm from here. We just kept moving back and forth, back and forth. So I've been teaching since 2013 full-time at Northwestern. I was an assistant professor, decided to leave to go get my PhD because there was more I wanted to do with everyone. And this is an extreme example of that. And so I went there, did that, and I'm bringing all these ideas back because that's what we do. And so I've been in this position since January of last year. And it's been an interesting ride, personally, I have a 6-year-old. My wife's a social worker. We've been married 15 years. We have a brand new puppy, and we have a farm out back now because, we're trying to survive coronavirus, So that little fun thing. All right. So next, Jennifer, Luna, would you?
There we go. Okay, so hi, I'm Jennifer Luna. I am the project operations coordinator. So what I do is help assist on a whole bunch of different projects, implementation of goals, objectives with statewide partnerships, and then we have what's going on at NSU. So kind of all over the place, but I work also physically at Northwestern State University, and I graduated from Texas A&M with my master's in public administration, and I've been in this position since August of last year now. And I live here in Natchitoches with my husband. He is the graduate assistant for the basketball team here, and I don't know what else I'm missing, but yeah, that's me.
Okay. All right. Hold on, sorry, gallery view went away. All right, Ms. Armisha.
Okay, good morning. My name is Armisha White, and I am, I attend Southern University in Baton Rouge. I am a senior there. My concentration I would like to work with after working with DCFS will be gerontology. I would like to really own my own nursing home. So that's just about me. That's it.
All right, wonderful. Thank you. All right, for some reason my picture skipped, but Morgan, you want to go next?
So good morning, guys. I'm Morgan. I also go to Southern University in Baton Rouge, but I'm currently in San Antonio, where I'm from. I don't really know what I want to concentrate in, but I feel like child welfare is a great start. I've always had a passion for working with children. I love seeing their little smiling faces, and of course I would like for them to see that again. I'm also on the bowling team at Southern. That's how I got to find out about Southern and Baton Rouge, and that's pretty much it about me.
All right, that's pretty fascinating, bowling team. I didn't know those still existed. That's cool. All right. Go back to gallery. All right, Ms. Monique.
Hello, everyone. I am Monique Hurst. I am the Title IV liaison for Southern University in New Orleans, and I am also adjunct instructor there.
Anything fun you want?
I'm an empty nester, so I am home alone.
Oh no!
It's well for days like this.
Yeah. Welcome. We're glad to have you.
Any visitors.
All right. By Zoom, right? By Zoom.
Yes.
Social distancing. All right.
That's right.
Ms. Keechan. Ms. Key-Chan, you, oh, okay. You're,
Yes, good morning. My name is Keishan Smith, and I am a student at Southern University of New Orleans. I'm currently in my second semester in the first year of the program. I'm an employee with Department of Children and Family Services in the Baton Rouge region. And a fun fact about me is that I cannot wait to ride my bicycle every day at 4:30 when I get off from work.
awesome. What kind of bike?
It's a 7-speed.
Yeah. Banana ski?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, welcome. Thank you. And we'll explain the difference between some of our cohort here. So, Ms. Natira, did I say it right? Hold on, she might be having trouble unmuting. And if you do have a video, please feel free to turn it on. We will not make any comments. We promise. Oh, I can't unmute her. Ms. Bowles, do you have a microphone? If you need a chat.
I do. I am so sorry.
Hey, I think we were probably clicking the button together. Okay.
No, I was having a conversation. But I am Natara Bowles. I'm a student at Grambling State University. And I am I would like to work in child welfare.
Wonderful. Well, you're in the right place. What's something fun about you?
I'm goofy. I am goofy. I'm
All right.
very goofy.
Very good.
Natara's calling me every day. She's on top of the game.
All right. Mr. Hoffpower, Mr. Randy.
Hello. I'm Randy Hoffpower, working here at Northwestern State University, Title IV coordinator. I'm originally from Leesville, which is about an hour south of Natchitoches, and grew up there. Been living in Louisiana, but I spent the last 20 years in Delaware, and came back this past August to go to work here at Northwestern, and I'm very, very happy to be here. So nice to meet y'all.
We're glad to have you. All right, Ms. Vidal.
Good morning. My name is Tamaja Vidal. I currently work for the Department of Children and Family Services in the Iberville Parish as a family services worker. I recently received my bachelor's degree in social work from Southern University. Something fun about me. I like tap dancing. Other than that, that's
Cool.
about it.
All right. Wonderful. Welcome. All right, Ms. Megan. You're on mute. Hold on. I got you. Oh, go for it.
Hi, how you doing? Can you hear me?
Yep, we're good.
Hi, my name is Megan Perkins. I'm a student at Southern University of New Orleans, I'm a senior. In the middle of all of this stuff. We're supposed to be graduating soon, don't know when, but so I am living in New Orleans. Something fun about me is I love to travel. I love to spend time with my beautiful family. That just sums me up. Yeah.
Wonderful. Welcome. All right, Ms. Rachel. There you go. Nope. Hold on, let me see if I can unmute you. Ms. Rachel, can you unmute yourself? For some reason, not letting me.
Sorry, I hear you, but there's a little baby.
Oh, wonderful.
Who has some attention. Say hi, Ryan. I don't think he wants to say hi.
That's all right. That's all right.
Give me just a second. I'll stay.
Sure. No, you're
I'll
fine.
settle him down. Okay. All right, Ryan. Did that work? Hi, you guys. I'm Rachel. I'm a student at Southern University at New Orleans. I'll get to the fun thing about me. I have a newborn. I had him in the middle of the semester, and that's so much fun.
Oh my goodness.
He's my second son. But we're doing great. I'm actually Ryan. Oh. I'm an employee of DCFS. I've been with Centralized Intake for the last 5 to 6 years. I think it's 6 years now. And I enjoy working in that program, but I have been doing my internship with the foster care unit in East Jefferson. Oh, and I'm in Greater New Orleans area, so that's pretty fun for us. We're not from this area. We moved here a few years ago. So we love the culture here. We love the snowballs and crawfish and all the festivals and all that fun stuff. So that's it about me. Is that all you wanted to know?
Yes, no, perfect. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Glad to have babies, I promise.
Oh, thank you.
All right, so let me go back to gallery view. Mr. Jerry, you want to go?
Sure.
As if they don't know you.
I'm Mr. Jerry. Most of y'all know me. Most of y'all know I'm the liaison on the DCFS side. We all know that you can call me. I'm here for you for anything that you need, anything that you want. Just, you got my cell phone number and call me. Something fun for me is I like to cook. And it's not good because I'm home every day now. And I cook big time stuff. So you can ask Kishan that. She knows I like to cook.
There you go. You have to cook for us. That would be nice.
Yeah.
All right, Miss Courtney.
Hey, I'm Courtney.
Oh, we have two. Sorry, Courtney Sanders. We'll come back to you.
Okay. I'm Courtney. I actually graduated with my undergrad from ULM, and I just finished up my master's degree from UC Baton Rouge. I am with DCFS. I've been employed with DCFS for 8 years. 3 of those years I did foster care, and 5 of those years I'm doing home development. And I did my internship in adoptions. And a fun fact about me is I had a baby in the middle of my internship. So,
oh wow.
So that's me.
So you know what Rachel's going through.
I do.
Wonderful. Welcome. Thank you for coming. All right, Miss Christie.
Okay. I'm Christy. I am a graduating senior from SUNO in New Orleans. I am working on my master's. I have 2 years experience with DCFS investigations, and now I'm interning with foster care. I am no longer employed with DCFS. I left.
Gotcha.
And now I'm back. And this is my outdoor office. I spend every day out here. The weather's been beautiful. And so that's it for me. I'm trying not to impulse spend right now. It's really hard. We already bought bikes, and so now we're riding our bikes every day. My husband wants a boat. I'm like, let's wait until I'm employed.
Hey, that stimulus check is coming.
Yeah, no, that's going to the savings.
Treat yourself, right?
Mm-hmm. So that's it for me.
Thank you. All right, Super.
Hey, it's me. It's Shelly.
Shelly, all right.
Sorry about that, Super, but I am Super. Hey, okay. So I am interning in Harvey with DCFS Family Services. I am graduating at the end of the semester at SUNO. Yay me. Having a great time going through Moodle. And something fun, I'm an award-winning, internationally published artist, a freelance photographer, and I belong to BACA, Bikers Against Child Abuse.
Oh, interesting.
It's fun.
Welcome. We're glad to have you. That's cool. All right. Miss T. Shaw.
Hi, I'm Altricia Mingo. I'm a senior at ULM.
I was at the Washita Parish DCFS office, but due to COVID-19, I'm currently working from home, taking calls for United Way 211. There's not really anything fun about me. I'm not fun at all.
Oh, come
Yeah, we
on.
believe that. All right. Well, welcome. Even if you think it's not fun, it probably is to us. Welcome. All right, Ms. Tramika.
You're on mute, Jamaica.
There's a little button down at the bottom that looks like a microphone. Just hit it. There you go.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Tramika Washington. I am a MSW student at LSU. My last class should be at the end of this month. I'm currently a foster care worker with DCFS. I have been with the agency for 4.5 years. And something fun about me is I love to travel. I had a trip scheduled for New York, but looks like I'm gonna have to cancel it.
Yeah, you are. I'm so sorry. That sucks. Welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Ariel. The little microphone button at the bottom left.
Okay, good morning.
There you
Can you
go.
hear me?
Oh,
All good.
which one?
Perfect. Oh, there's two. Ms. Joseph.
Oh, yeah.
Joseph? Okay. Hello, my name is Ariel. I'm an MSW student at SUNO. Fun fact is I was supposed to be in Vegas right now having the time of my life. But I'm at home.
You're
So
with us though, right? This is just the same.
yes, this is just, but I would have loved the Vegas weather right about now.
Well, we are not as entertaining, but we will try to be educational, right?
Yes,
Welcome. Thank
yes,
you for being here. All right, Ms. Brianna.
Good morning. My name is Brianna John. I attend Southern University at New Orleans. I am an MSW student as well. A fun fact about me is that I love shopping. That's about it for me.
All right. Wonderful. Thank you for being here. All right, Ms. Courtney. Jackson.
Hi guys. Excuse me, I'm a little bit under the weather, so if you can't understand me, I apologize in advance. I attend Grambling State University. I am a MSW student. I was supposed to graduate. Well, I guess I am still graduating for the spring semester. I am also a behavioral health ambassador through Clark Atlanta University as well. And one thing that I like to do for fun is shop.
Awesome. Good deal. Thank you for being here. All right, Ms. Ariel Thomas.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Ariel Thomas. I'm a student at Grambling State University. I'm getting my bachelor's in social work right now. I do intern in Lincoln Parish DCFS office under Ms. Nancy Tucker. One interesting fact about me is I recently just got out the hospital recently, and I'm learning how to cook since we have to stay at home so much now, and I can't eat out as much as I used to.
Yeah. Maybe Jerry can share some recipes with you.
You're right.
Call me.
Wonderful.
And that's it, I believe.
Thank you for being here. All right, Ms. Kanisha.
Hello, my name is Kanisha Hargrove. I am currently a student at ULM. I'm getting my bachelor's. I was interning at the Washita Parish DCFS office, but no longer. I am now taking calls for United Way 211. A fun thing about me is I like to shop online, and I am fanatic about wigs.
Wonderful. Welcome. All right, Ms. LaCondra.
Good morning, everybody. My name is LaCrundra Green. I attend Grambling State University, and I like to go swimming.
Awesome. We're almost at the right weather for it. My daughter keeps begging to go in the pool, and she keeps
Yes,
shocking
sir.
her system with Wonderful. Welcome. All right, so Ms. Deja?
Deasia.
Deasia.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm Deasia Mathis, and I was interning at the Ouachita DCFS office with CPS and Family Services. I'm a senior at ULM. I was hoping to graduate. Well, I am going to graduate, but I was hoping to walk across the stage. Let me be specific. This May. And I don't really have a fun fact about me, but hey.
Once again, we don't believe you, but that's okay. We're good.
Anything, I can't say it on the conference call. But
Yeah. I get that. That's code. That's code. Right?
All right.
That's cool. Thank you for being here. All right, Ms. Courtney? Ms. Creighton?
Sorry, Courtenay.
Courtney, thank you. And please, if I get a name wrong, please tell me.
Well, everyone calls me Courtney, so you're fine. My government name is Courtenay. Good morning. I'm Courtenay. I attend Grambling State University. We're graduating this spring. A fun fact about me, social work and child welfare is new. I've worked in healthcare for the last 8 years, but thus far, I'm enjoying it.
Wonderful. We're so glad to have you.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Chelsea.
Good morning. My name is Chelsea, and I am in Southeast University. And I've always had a passion for working with children. I just didn't know what I wanted to do exactly. So I'm glad I chose this profession. So I want to work with child welfare. And the fun fact about me, well, I just started a new hobby where I exercise 3 days out the week. So I'm doing that. So.
All right, wonderful. I mean, no time like the present at home, right? All kinds of hobbies we could start. Thank you. Well, all right, Ms. Bryant. Ms. Bryant, you hear us?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're okay.
I'm multitasking. I'm Andrea Bryan, Michelle Bryan. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. You can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, all right. I'm Andrea Michelle Bryant. I came on late, so I'm not quite sure what I'm supposed to say.
Oh, just give
but
us a
I am a. Okay. All right, I'm a third year MSW student at Grambling, and I will be finished May this year, 2020. So since COVID, we are 100% online. So I anticipate that we'll get that done and out of the way. And what else am I supposed to tell you?
Fun fact about yourself.
Okay, fun fact. I like to shop. That's about it.
All right, wonderful. That's a good thing. Welcome. Thank you for coming. All right, Ms. Nacia.
It's Nakia.
Nakia, thank you.
All right, well, my name is Nakia Isaac. I'm a senior at ULM. I'm currently interning at the Ouachita Parish DCFS in the adoptions unit. I graduate on May 16th, and a fun fact about me is that I will be a first-generation graduate in my family.
Oh, wonderful.
Wow.
I know, right?
Hell yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Stephanie.
Hello, my name is Stephanie Rogers. I am a advanced student at Louisiana State University. I work under Melissa Thomas and Michelle Milburn at the Department of Children and Family Services in Lafayette. I am 100% online right now, and doing conference calls and things from home. Fun fact about me is I like to do makeup and I have a YouTube channel.
Oh, wonderful.
And
Would
she's
you like
a
to?
good representative of us.
Wonderful. Would you like to share your YouTube channel name?
Oh, sure. It's S as in Stephanie dot Nicole Nikkole. Check me out. It's fun.
All right. I'll give you a little plug there. That's cool.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you. All right. Sorry, my screen is jumping. All right. So next is Miss Janine.
Good morning. I'm sorry I don't have the camera on. I literally was late and I am not presentable at the moment.
That's all right.
Hello, everybody. My name is Janine Jackson. I am a graduating senior, thank you, Jesus, at SUNO. I was interning at the Benson Tower in Orleans Parish with foster care. Our graduation date is supposed to be May 9th, but as long as I get my papers. And a fun fact about me, I have started saving money by wearing press-on nails, and I make them look like I've gone to the nail shop.
Very nice. Very cool. Thank you. Welcome. All right, so we have 3 people by phone, so I don't know who they are, but phone number ending in 3682.
Yeah, that's me. Can you hear me?
Yep, we're good.
Okay. I'm sorry, I don't have the camera on. I have strep right now, and I'm laying in bed. I'm not really feeling well.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. My name is Carly Estelle. I am an MSW student at LSU. Right now, I am interning at DCFS in Covington and the foster care unit, and I'm supposed to graduate in May. A fun fact about me is I like to ride horses.
Wonderful. Welcome. We hope you feel better soon.
Thank you.
All right, phone number ending in 5046.
Yeah, my name is Karen Holmes, and I am in the social work program at Northwestern State University, and this is my senior year. So I'll hopefully be graduating in May. And an interesting, and I was interning at the DCFS office in Alexandria. And an interesting fact about me is I like to do it at a home improvement projects, but I've learned to leave the plumbing to the professionals.
Amen to that. Yes. Don't play with plumbing. Wonderful. Welcome. All right. Phone number ending in 0674.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm Cassie Beckdale. I am getting my BSW at Northwestern. I was interning at the DCFS office here in Houma. And a fun fact about me is I've recently picked up gardening since I'm stuck at home now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. That's a good hobby to have. That's one of my main hobbies, that and cooking. I'll stick with gardening.
Yep.
Wonderful. Welcome. All right. And so I think somebody on the first screen, Ms. LaTanya, did you speak? No. Ms. LaTanya?
Hi, how y'all doing this morning? I am LaTanya Osborne. I am a senior social work student at Southeastern University. After waiting so many years to graduate and walk across the stage, I will not get to have that opportunity, but I am grateful that I'll be able to finally complete it. I am a mother of 2 boys, 14 and 7, and I got 2 aggravating chihuahuas that think they're pit bulls that I love dearly. I work with the DCFS office in Amite. Prior to this, I was commuting daily, so now I just staff with them 2 times a day, every day by phone. So yeah, it's been fun.
Welcome. We're so glad to have you.
Thank you.
So let me type something real quick. All right, making sure something was actually working. All right, so one of the things that I promise we won't do the introductions every time because that is a long thing, but I'm hoping that all of you will continue to come back to this. And so that if we have anybody new, we might have them introduce themselves. You know, we won't do this again. But thank you all for sharing. I did write down little things about y'all. So let me kind of talk about the community of practice model, where it comes from, and kind of what some of the goals are. And really before I do that, so you'll notice when you listen to everyone, there are two types of individuals here, or I guess three, but two types of scholars here. We have stipend scholars and employee scholars. The program that we all manage across this state, the Title 40 program, we're really expanding it and growing it. It's a legit thing. This is not just to give you a stipend and see you out the door kind of thing. We want to support you and be with you. Right now here in the Zoom call, we have stipend students who, or what we used to call stipend students, stipend scholars, are individuals getting their master's and their bachelor's degree, who most have never worked for DCFS. We do have one who has. But these are individuals who you're getting a degree. And then the other group that we have here are employees who have been with DCFS for some time, and they are getting their master's degree through one of the 3 MSW programs in the state. And so they have experience. They're also going through school, just like you all are doing, slightly different depending on where they are in their program. So for our scholars, you all were in internships, and those went belly up, and we're so sorry, but we're going to do everything we can to support you and support your learning, enhance what we can. Some of the employee scholars were in their internships, and because they are employees, they get to kind of keep doing that from home. It's a little different for them, but so let me kind of talk about the community of practice model. I promise I won't drone on for too long, but I really want y'all to understand the heart behind it and the passion behind it. And I want to tell you where it came from for me. So when I left Louisiana to go actually move to Indiana, never thought we were coming back here. That was not the plan. And we, my wife and I and our daughter moved, started a whole new life. And one of the programs that I helped with as a graduate assistant, graduate research assistant, was a community of practice model through the IU School of Social Work online program. And so what we did, it is a model that's based on a couple different areas have done something similar, a couple different professions. What you do is you form a group of people who are experiencing something together. And the community of practice is meant to be a support, a learning enrichment. I apologize. I'm getting the Amazon shipment. It supports learning, supports each other emotionally, and then also creates a knowledge base. So the example that I have for you all is the online faculty at Indiana University. They have an online program for their master's, and they have a regular master's program. It's 2 separate programs. I've taught for both, and what we did was, you know, when people are doing anything new, you're always not sure what to do, right? You all are experiencing that, right? When you start a new internship, you start a new thing, you don't know what it's going to be like the first day you go into your internship. And for online teaching, it's kind of the same. You might have taught in the past, but to do it online and to do it well is really difficult. And so what we did, we started doing these webinars once a month, and then online interactions weekly. And so some weeks there would be, hey, read this article and let's talk about how this would apply to classroom stuff. Other weeks we would create a literal knowledge base, which is an online repository of knowledge where we would go out and find articles or find tools, find things on Pinterest, whatever it was. and put those in the knowledge base. And so that when new teachers would come in, they could go, and so there might be an article on best practices in grading or best practices in dealing with students who have dealt with loss. Literally, I mean, when you have students who deal with deaths in the family, we as faculty don't always know what to do, you know, I mean, to support them emotionally. And there's a lot of people who believe, oh, well, they need to turn in their assignments the same as everyone else. Well, you know, and understanding that there are racial differences between faculty, that there are differences in grading, all kinds of things. So the community of practice is to be as a support, but also a way to help people initiate into that web. Okay. So for you all, where our vision is for this, that this become an addition to the support groups that we already have, to supplement the time in between. If we're honest about child welfare work, it's very, very difficult. And I don't want to start by painting a hard picture, but what we do know is that it's really, really, really easy for people to burn out. Those of you who are with DCFS now, those who have been with DCFS, Mr. Hoffpower retired from DCFS in Delaware. He could probably speak to that, how difficult it is to manage the emotional pieces and the relational pieces between workers. And it's very easy, if it's not monitored, for there to become a very toxic environment. And so in my role here in the program, but also statewide, I get the privilege of doing a lot of research. And right now we have a survey out in one of our regions, and they were looking at workplace environment. And I can attest to you all that the findings that we have so far that I'm about to write up, they're not good. A lot of people in that region seeing the office environment, the work environment, as being very toxic. And what's expressed in that is this feeling of hopelessness, these feelings of it's never going to get better. And you all can imagine if that's what you're going to work every day to, that's going to get really difficult. And the reality, the truth is that any work environment can get like that. I think child welfare probably gets a lot more intense because of the stress that you all are or will deal with. So the community of practice model is an intervention. It is a means of helping you all to connect to each other in a positive way. Because what we know is that communities are what help us thrive. So if you go back to systems theory, we're all social workers here. If we go back to systems theory, ecological theory, systems theory. If we go back to relational theories, we need each other. It's not a we can get by on our own for a long time. We really can't. We need each other. And if you think about with COVID right now, there are so many people that are really struggling because of the lack of connection, physical connection to other people, you know, just being in the same room together. And so that's when we're doing this. People are having COVID happy hours, you know, Zoom happy hours, because we naturally want that community. And so what this is intended to be is a strong community of learners, of scholars, and people willing to make the changes in the system. You know, DCFS in Louisiana, it's not as bad as people think it is. You know, people who have very negative opinions of it, but it has room for improvement. And what it needs is people that are going to step up, that are going to work together, that are going to connect to each other, that are going to be willing to call out the crap when they see it, and also be willing to be honest about when things from their own standpoint fall short, and work with each other to grow the system, to put the repairs back. So you've all learned systems theory. What happens when a system gets too big? Or what is the potential when a system gets really, really big?
It's a lot harder to manage a system when it's bigger, and this group over here might understand what's going on between each other, but this group over here is in great communication with the other.
Yeah. When it's like any machine, the bigger a machine gets, the more potential it has to break somewhere, right? The more expensive a vehicle gets, the more likely major is going to happen that you have to spend a lot of money to repair, right? You know, if you buy a Ford Fiesta or a Mercedes Benz, there's a lot different strategies to taking care of those things. And so, you know, by nature, we're all humans. Everybody at DCFS is human. I don't think there's anybody that goes to work saying, you know what, today I'm going to F up somebody. I'm going to figure out a way to just mess somebody up. I think what often happens is people are dealing with trauma. There was an interesting definition of trauma that I heard, or my wife read to me from a trauma therapist the other night. And it was an Instagram post, and it said, you know, trauma therapist here, let's get real. For something to be traumatic, there has to be two criteria. One, that you can't escape the event, and two, you can't make sense of it. So when you think about COVID, when you think about these major worldwide things, yeah, we can't escape it, and we cannot make sense of it. But if you think about the small traumas and the big traumas that clients and families go through, and more so workers go through every day, they can't escape it because it's tied to our paycheck. You know, it's what we've chosen to do. It's our passion. And we really can't make sense of it, because why would someone hurt somebody in the ways that you all will see? And so it's traumatic. It's trauma. And so we have to have those release valves, right? And part of that release valve, research over and over and over has said, is through community. It's through coming together in an intentional way, working with each other, talking, you know, being willing to be honest, and then being willing to adjust our perceptions of the world and the way that things are. And so that's what we want this platform to be, you know, without having to hype it. You know, we want this to be a real place for you all to come and to support each other and support the next generations of scholars that are going to come through. Next year, we will have, you know, a whole new 30-something bunch of scholars, and they're going to be as wet behind the gills as you all were. You know, they're going to have no idea. If you know, those of you who were at the orientation meeting, you all had fantastic questions, and y'all looked lost. Y'all look like deer in headlight. I'll be honest. It was beautiful to watch, but think about where you are now. So I want to open up a question for dialogue. So I'm not here to just keep talking. So my question is, and if you will just kind of respond how y'all want to respond, try not to over each other just because of the way the signal will cut in and out. You could tell yourself back in August some bit of advice now to that person that you were then. What would you tell them in terms of this whole program and school and life and everything?
I would tell myself to enjoy it while it's easy, because I wanted to get out of school so bad and start working, and now that 8 to 4:30 is killing me.
Yeah. You know, I've heard that quite a bit throughout the years, because I remember my master's program, I couldn't wait to get out. And then when I got out, oh yeah, you got to go work. It's not the same. All right, who else? What you got? Go ahead.
So I'm kind of a weird situation because I did my whole internship this whole year from the fall and the spring, but I'm actually not graduating until next fall. And I feel like when I was at orientation, I was a little bit terrified because I'm going to have that gap from when I graduate to when I start working. And I think that I would tell myself that nobody's expecting me to know everything right off the bat. Even now that I know as much as I do from interning in Baton Rouge, I still feel very supported and that I can turn to anybody for help when I need it.
Absolutely. That's brilliant. Thank you. Who else?
Okay, I'll go. To tell my I guess used to be self in August, I would probably most likely tell myself that you need to calm down. You know, you need to calm down. I'm a very anxious person, very hyper indeed. But from then to now, you know, I would most likely tell myself that just need to calm down. Everything
Yeah.
does not need to, be done like how Morgan said, you don't need to just know everything because you can't know everything. So
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and to share this with y'all, I'll never forget years ago, I was doing my clinical supervision for my LCSW with a wonderful therapist, practitioner, Lynn Davis Clark in Alexandria. And we were sitting in her office. I was working in hospice at the time. And, I was struggling with it, but I was still in my first year with my master's after having, and she looked at me and she said, Andrew, she said, when I was your age or, your practice age, she said, it was about the 1 year mark that I realized that there was more that I didn't know than I did know about practice and therapy and all of these things. And she said that it was, to use her language, I'll clean up a little. She's like, it was effing terrifying. And I'll never forget when I hit about the 1 year mark, maybe that's why she brought it up. I felt the same way. I was terrified because you get in there with such bravado that you know what to do. And then you find out, no, you don't. And so, it's how you approach it. My way of approaching life now, because it's still terrifying even when you have all the degrees and experience. Curiosity. Be curious. That works for me. It doesn't work for everyone.
Hey, and I'm gonna ditto that, Andrew, because I can remember I was a 4E student, and man, I was ready to conquer the world and go into that office. I bonded with my supervisor. The first thing she told me, she said, don't get too excited because you're not gonna know anything. You're not gonna master this for at least 3 years.
Yeah.
And it was so true. I mean, you learn. It's a learning process, and it's a good learning process. And you just learn more and more, and you take it all in. And don't sweat them small stuff. I mean, did you cut yourself? Are you bleeding? No? Then you're okay. Keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm interested to hear from one of our employee education people. What would you have told yourself before or when you started your program? Because for some of y'all, you did part-time or it's lengthy because of the way that it's set up.
I think I would have told myself that you're really going to love this, that you're really going to like it. Because so far, I've had some situations where it's like, wow. But all in all, I really am enjoying, so far I've enjoyed everything I've done in this program.
Wonderful.
I think one of my struggles was like not defining clear lines because I work home development and then adoptions is actually in the same hallway. And so I felt really tugged to like continue what I was doing in my regular employment and then doing my internship too, which I did make great time of my internship in adoptions, but it really was a struggle to just say, no, I can't do work today. I'm doing internship today.
Yeah. It can be a struggle to manage roles. I mean, if you think about it in life right now, I don't know how you all feel about it, but personally me, I'm struggling to be home and work because, my job is big. All of your jobs are big. This is your job, for the employee scholars who are school and DCFS, I can't imagine what y'all are going through because I feel tugged in 1,000 different directions. And I see my couch and I'm like, ooh, that couch looks good. I just go sit on it. So, one of the things I thought about talking about today, just mention it and see what strategies you all use for that very thing. there is a concept, and I cannot remember the name of it. I keep wanting to say code breaking or code switching, but that's something different. But little strategies you do to trick your mind. One of the things that I try to do at least a couple days out of the week is I sort of dress up the way I normally would in my office, which is always Levi jeans or Levi pants, colored Levi pants, and a dress shirt. So today, obviously, I'm wearing a dress shirt. That kind of helps me to somewhat say, okay, I'm going to the closet to go work. You know, I'm going to try to get X number of things done. If I'm in my PJs, it doesn't seem to get done as well. What about y'all? Have y'all come up with any strategies, literally where y'all are now?
I'm working on it because I'm an at-home school mom as well. So today I tried what you said. I said, you know what? Today for the video conference, I'm gonna put on my head, put on a little lip gloss. Maybe I should put my lashes on. I hadn't got to that, so I just dressed it up some, and I said moving forward. Because I can honestly say I am a big procrastinator.
Yeah.
So this at-home thing does not work for me. It's driving me insane. I have days I'm up and down, and my child is suffering because he's also up and down.
Yeah.
So I try to, like now he's sleeping and he should be up on Lexia doing schoolwork. So I try to set our area up in my computer room where he has a desk and I have a desk, and we try to work simultaneously. That's not working either. So I'm still trying to tweak it out, y'all. I just don't know, but hopefully I get there by Monday.
Yeah.
So my office space is on my back porch. So every day I come out here, all my stuff stays out here. And then when my kids hang out, they watch TV behind me. So I just they got the swing set. And then when my husband gets off at 4 or 5, we go to the front yard, and that's where we'll play basketball, ride bikes. And then the weekends, I just pick all this up and put it in my room until it's time to start again.
Yeah.
But actually, like at a certain time saying, okay, I'm off, and leaving this spot, and it's my office. So I feel like I'm going to work or internship.
Yeah. That's smart. I mean, having a dedicated space seems to be helping a lot of people. Not everyone can have that. That's great. What are you going to do when it gets hot? Hold on, you're muted.
Every single day has been beautiful. So I didn't think that far through, but I think that the weather's not going to really change. Even in the 80s, when it was 80, because all of March was in the 80s, they still had a nice little breeze.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, I don't know. I think we're going to be finished before it gets too hot.
Hopefully. Oh my goodness, hopefully.
I agree. It has been so beautiful ever since we've been on lockdown, literally every single day. So some days I'll do kind of like what you just said, and I'll go sit out on my little balcony and do my work like that. I run off sunlight, like that's kind of like a self-care for me. So it's been really hard to just be in the house. And there's just such a stigma when you go out in public, even if you are going to the park and you're by yourself and running. So I don't know. It's just, I guess my porch has been like my way of feeling like no one's really judging me, but I get to like sit out in the sun and also get my work done, because I don't like that my home space has now become my workspace, because I feel like they should be two separate entities. It just doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Who else agrees? Yeah.
I think also as a staff member, I personally have never really worked from home before in general. Always had an office at my jobs, always had that. But I think for me, even whenever I do work on campus, I eat lunch at my desk, because where else am I going to go eat lunch? But here, it's been nice to put into practice, okay, it's lunchtime, I'm going to step away from my desk, which is our dining room table, funny enough, but I'll sit on the porch, I'll sit on the couch, I'll take a walk or something to help create more of a break during that lunchtime, or remembering, okay, get up and move around because you're at home, because let's say it's 4:30 and I'm off for the day. I could step 2 feet over and just plop on the couch, but I just making that time to take breaks and go for walks, kind of like you said, Stephanie. But lunchtime is a good one where I'm able to close my computer, cook something, and that's been really great too. Just really taking a break, and yeah.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I had my first foray into teleworking when I started this position. It was in January of last year, and I was still living in Indiana, in Indianapolis, and so for 4 solid months I was doing teleworking, and out in some ways it was sheer hell because I felt like I needed to prove that I was working at all time. But I was a student at the time. I was taking, a full load. I had papers to write. I had presentations to get ready, all kinds of things. It overwhelmed me. And so that, having to remind myself I can't get it all done. I don't have to prove that I'm working all the time. I can set boundaries, and, to see it as a project-based day versus hourly-based day, it's really helpful. But being at home is hard to set those boundaries. Plus, it's my house. Shouldn't have to work.
And I think a good thing is also just remembering that this is uncharted territory for everybody, for your bosses, for your supervisors, for your coworkers, your colleagues, your classmates. Nobody knows on how to do this the utmost perfect way. Nobody knows on how to do this the best way that's going to work for every single person the exact same way. You have to figure out what works for you and be good with that, because this is all different for everybody. This is not happened for anybody in anybody's lifetime, really.
Thank you for sharing that. Did y'all hear about the companies that are using their cameras, like workers' cameras, to take pictures of them every 5 minutes to make sure they're working?
Yes.
No thanks.
That's horrible. Yeah, but don't be that to yourself though, because it's easy to psychologically trick yourself into thinking you have to be working every 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's honestly the most frustrating part to me, is that now seems like everyone wants to account for every single second of your day, which honestly, no matter what field you're in, like the chances are that there are going to be some days where things get a little slow, or like you have a little bit of downtime. And I think it's kind of a pressure. I know for me as a student, I have like a certain amount of internship hours I have to get. So instead of going into the office where I'm constantly shadowing, I'm in a meeting, now it's like I'm sitting through training after training. I just keep looking at the screen all day.
Yeah.
So it's just, that to me is like the biggest pressure, just feeling like at every second of the day I'm supposed to be doing something.
Yeah.
From 8 to 4:30.
Yeah, I completely relate to that. I enjoy being able to do stuff from my computer, but I have to get up every once in a while. And what I've been doing, like in between trainings, is I'll get up one time and do some jumping jacks, and then the next time I'll do some sit-ups or something like that. And that keeps me from being antsy when I'm doing something on the computer, because I miss that, going from building to building for class or going to my internship off campus. That was really something to break up the monotony.
Yeah. That's been one of the things I've read a lot about, people struggling with the monotony of this. You wake up every day and you're like, okay, breakfast again. All right, lunch, figure it out, and it's different because it's day after day after day. And I actually had a video to show y'all, and I didn't send it to, let me get it up quick. I just thought this was the best thing that my wife shared it with me yesterday. Let me get it up for y'all. Oh, I'm sorry. I have a couple screens here. I'm not sure where my messages have gone.
And while he's looking,
yes, please.
I'd say that for me on the DCFS side, I have been in more Zoom meetings on a daily basis that you don't have time to breathe. Because you're leaving one Zoom, going right into another, and they're all about 2 hours long. So my goal, and we're talking about this, my goal last night, I thought, okay, we got 2 dogs, at least 3 times a day. I need to take those dogs and go for a walk just to break it up.
Sorry, y'all, give me 1 second. I realized it was on Instagram, so I've got to send it to.
My other break that y'all can see, and it's, if you can see it right here as I play the piano. So when it gets really tough, I'll start playing a little song that distracts my brain.
All right, y'all, here's the, let me share the video with y'all. I don't know if y'all have seen this, but this is just precious. Okay, can I just go to it? There we go.
I don't know how much days I'm in the house. 15, 16, 17 nights? I don't even know where I've been. This is like, I don't even know what kind of like number it is when I've been in my house. Like, I want to go see my friends. My friends.
Could y'all see that?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
That's funny.
It acted like it wasn't sharing. So, yeah. I mean, I think that she says it eloquently. I want to go see my friends up there. Oh, wait. Still recording? Zoom. Okay. Thank y'all for sharing. And if anybody has any more thoughts, you know, before we jump off, we'll share some more. But I did want to show y'all a couple things, kind of moving us forward a little bit. One of the things that I want us to use, and I've thought about what program to use or what platform to use. Part of a community of learning is creating, as I said, a knowledge base. And what that is, you know, like a lot of universities have a literal knowledge base for any kind of things or program questions that they may have. With a community of practice, we build a literal knowledge base for people to access. There have been so many questions that students have sent saying, hey, do you have any case studies that we could use? Any resources that would be good to know about? And sometimes I can say yes, and sometimes I have to say I don't know. And so my researcher hat and go and research and see if I can find those things. Well, what one person can do is limited, but what 38 people can do is very dynamic. And so let me share a different screen now. At Northwestern, we use a program called Teams. It's through Microsoft. Can you all see the, right now IU stuff, but can y'all see the Teams page right here?
There you go.
Okay. So Microsoft Teams is an online or a collaborative platform for us to house documents, to communicate with each other, to do all sorts of things. For the time being, this is the best option we have in terms of creating a knowledge base and having a platform to use. It's a pretty dynamic platform. If there's something else that you all would like to use, something different, we can definitely look into that. But I thought we can start here and we can move things to anything that we would change our mind to, but it's something that's not going anywhere. But Microsoft Teams it's this online platform and allows you to upload files. And so if literally, if I want to share something with you all, sorry, give me 1 second. Where's the document? Here we go. Like for instance, I had given you all this by email. One of the problems with email is that you have to keep track of it. With Teams, it has it here. And so I had sent this to you all. Some of you got a bad version because it was missing the Moodle thing. But what I can do is this is uploaded. You all will have access to it. These are all links that you can go to. You can edit in real time. What I always do is edit in the desktop app because it use the full Word options. So I can see where it went. Oh, there it is. So if we're creating a document together, it would be here. And we can all work on it. We can make comments, notes, track changes, all of that kind of thing. With this PLC notebook, this notebook is where we're going to store a lot of our, this is where we're going to store our knowledge base. Takes it a minute, but it's something that can actually, right now it's empty. What we can do is knowledge base. Creating our first page. All right. And this will show you how we can create lots of different tabs. And so for instance, you know, we can do a section based on this or a page on here. One of the things that I would like y'all to do in this next week, I want you to all go out and find one resource or one thing that you would look at and say, you know, I wish I had had that in the first semester or the first month of my schooling. That would have been something that would have been powerful for me to understand child welfare or an intervention or anything about it. And so I literally mean anything out there, from articles, Netflix documentaries, which we're gonna kind of watch the Gabriel Hernandez thing together. Anything out there that you just look and you say, wow, I wish I had had that. We're going to move this forward through our generations, our cohorts, in terms of making sure that they have those things, because we're strengthening our professional base by becoming the rock and the foundation for the next. Okay. And so in this next week, just go and find one thing and you'll come here and I want you to put it there. We can organize this however we want to organize it. And we can move things around. Nothing's ever set in stone. So feel free to just put things. If it's links, we can put it as a link. If it's a document, we can put it as a document. However you want to do it. And this is a place that you all will have access to. So what I will do today is I will add you all to this. Now, the one thing about that, if I add you as your student email, that is going to go away after this semester. You're going to need to give me a new email address after, which will be your DCFS email address. So if I have a DCFS, oh, I'm sorry, no. Can't do DCFS emails. They don't work with this. I have to use personal emails. So what I need you to do is, if you have an email address you would rather me use, I have some of your alternate email addresses. I will add you by that. So just make sure you email me sometime today and say, hey, use this email address. Because DCFS, the firewall does not allow use of Teams. And so like Jerry and Jan Byland, Catherine Prejean, I'll have them by their personal like family emails. So that way I can get y'all connected in here. What's really cool, I don't have anyone in right now. Add Jennifer. Once I add Jennifer into it, I can say at Jennifer.
And I just got the notification.
I added something for you. It will go to her computer. It alerts her.
Yep, there it is.
In real time. Because I'm going to be honest, y'all, I don't know how y'all feel about email. Email is the bane of my existence right now. I mean, I'm sure when I look back at my email, there's 38. I've gotten 38 since we've been on this call. So this makes it a lot easier to live with. The way you get to this is to go either on the web. The first time you'll go to teams.microsoft.com. It will not come up for you like this. It's going to come up the first time as login. You're going to use whatever email address it is that you asked me to sign you up with. You'll create either a new password, even if it's not an Outlook or Hotmail or anything Microsoft, that's okay. If it's a Gmail address, you'll just set it up as that, and it will log you into this. You will only see this community of practice page unless y'all use this at your university. It can come up to this. The best thing to do though, to help yourself, is right here down at the bottom, download the desktop app. And that's what I'm using here. It works a lot better. You can get this on your phone as well. And the best thing about the phone is some of the dream things that we've thought about. We want to put on here good examples of how to write court reports. You can put in here
Yeah, that would be good.
tutorials on how to do certain interventions. And so if you're out in the field and you're literally about to go into a home visit, and you need reference of something, if it's on your phone, you can literally pull it up and reference it for yourself. This can be a repository for all sorts of things. So please use this as a means of creating useful and helpful dynamic resources that will actually help you in practice, not just become fluff. Thoughts on this?
I just want to say thank you.
You're welcome. This is part of what has become so big for me in terms of my, it's part of what I went to school for when I was there getting my PhD, which sounds fancy, y'all. It's not that hard. I want to see all of y'all do it. It was realizing that, it's the connections we have. It's how we approach things that really matter, and community really, really matters. Because when trauma happens in communities, you don't get through it alone. It's by connecting with others. And, when we talk about, healing from trauma, racial trauma, we worked with a community, and I was astounded to see that we thought we were bringing them, and I say we, a collective, we of a group that I was with, we were in, it's called Martindale Brightwood in Indianapolis. It's one of the quote unquote most violent neighborhoods in the country. And 4 white social workers were going in there to help them with trauma-informed care, and we asked at the end of the first day of this whole big thing where we, with the people over this, I was not over it, but the people over it said, what would success look like if, at the end of a year? And one of the ladies stood up and said, you white folk wouldn't be here. And I was like, yep, you're right. I knew that from the moment we stepped in the room that this is completely tone deaf. And, realizing that this community doesn't need people coming in telling them how to heal, because they naturally know how to heal. But what trauma is, we can't escape it, and we can't make sense of it, and it keeps happening. And so, part of what I learned from all of that was to stop being the expert and to start being learners together. So co-creation of knowledge really, really matters. And this is a platform for that. Sorry, going on. So we have this. I'm going to add you all today. Some of you are already emailing the email address to use. Perfect. Thank you. And you'll have access to this. Download the apps. Make sure that you have it ready. Find something, put it in there. So the last thing I had for us to kind of talk about is the other part of what this program is going, or another part of what this program is going to come. We have lots of phases to roll out, but several of the employee education support program people, we call them EESP workers, who are on the call today. And I asked them yesterday to join us. One of the main things that this has to incorporate is a mentoring type of piece to it. And so, what we've learned across all disciplines, all professions, is that oftentimes mentoring is the difference between someone burning out and someone thriving. And part of that is part of community. And so it is literally, mentoring is one of the markers of support for getting a degree. It's for moving through life. It's part of healing. And so what I am hoping, you know, for in the next couple months for us to figure out how that could look formally. And I'll share an article with y'all here on the knowledge base, but I want y'all to kind of get a sense of what I mean by mentorship. It makes or breaks people's careers. Having a mentor has been empirically proven as a means of helping support people to go on to do amazing work. And so what we want is to set up a formal mentoring program. The research says it has to be formal, not just, oh, hey, connect with this person. The better the structure of it, the more likely that that mentoring is going to be positive and helpful. And it's not a, well, this person is the expert and you're going to learn from them. It's the mentoring piece is, it's still a co-creation of knowledge and support, but you are talking with someone regularly that can give you their perspective or can hear you out and just hear your pain and listen and take it. And you know, that's a safe space for you. And so the way that I kind of envision that right now is those, the employee education support people who are doing the job now can definitely serve as mentors for the rest of us. And as you become workers, you will then later mentor students further down the road. But I want that to, or in a sense, organically evolve to how you all feel, because it's not about me directing this. But I'll give you an example of what I mean. So you all know that this whole scholar program has a stipulation to it, right? A year of practice. We want more than a year. I don't know if y'all know that, right? We want you in for the long haul. Okay, it's not just a year and gone. That's actually kind of our worst nightmare. But either way, okay. A couple months ago, in the spring or fall semester, we had a student who had just graduated from one of the 7 universities. I really don't remember who. And that student was ready to quit. And that student, I think, called Jerry. And Jerry spent time talking with them. And the student ended up leaving. And it wasn't because of Jerry, or it wasn't because she just burned out. I mean, she had already, she was dealing with some of the toxic work culture stuff. But I think also she didn't have her mind around the expectations of what the work was really going to be like, even though she had done an internship. So when that happened, Jerry and I and the coaches are the Jerry, do you want to explain who the coaches are? I always want to say retirees that are.
Well, they are retirees most of the time, but they come back and they help us out fill in with what we need. They have a lot of experience with them. They can step in and help you anything from a court report to understanding how to do an assessment. You know, they're support. They are major supports for us.
Yeah. And they help run the support groups. They will be integrated into all of this. These are individuals who have done the job all of their career, if not most of their career. And so what we realized in that moment was we needed a safety net. And that safety net has to be multiple complex layers. So the first line that we want is the mentoring piece. So that if somebody's struggling, you immediately go to your mentor and say, hey, I'm really struggling with this. Because, you know, we don't want people to just do the job and they hate it. Because that's not what you want in life. But I can promise you that you can go and hate any job you do. No matter how much money you make or how little money you make, no matter if it's the thing you think you want to do, you can hate anything you're doing. So part of it is a mindset, but also part of it is reality. You know, if you don't feel you have support, if you don't have someone you feel you can go to and say, hey, help me write a court report, because I got, bashed by the judge the last time. And so having that mentor piece, having this community of practice, having a coach that you can call, always having Jerry to be able to call because that's his role. We want multiple layers of support. And so that's why we're doing all this. I know we're spending a lot of time talking about the intent behind this because it is intentional. And so any thoughts about all of this?
And I do want y'all to call. A lot of you do, but you know, if you have any question, it doesn't matter what it is, call.
Yeah, especially if you need a recipe, call Jerry.
Yeah.
Well, I would say too, I hope everybody would feel comfortable calling any of us that are involved here. I've heard a lot of good ideas today, not just about you know, how to work from home and how to deal with that, but the whole idea of community. I know our bachelor's people are going to be graduating soon and going to work soon. One thing I would recommend is, and we were talking earlier about what would I tell myself back at the beginning. I'll just kind of tell y'all what I might have told myself at the beginning of my career. Start practicing the self-care now. Make that a piece of it for sure. And when you get on the job, whatever you're doing, try to stay ahead on your documentation. The best thing you can do is to try to say, I'm going to do my work today, and before I leave today, I'm going to have my documentation completed for everything that I've done. Now, that's certainly not always possible, but that's the way to approach it. That's the best way to approach it, because the documentation, I'm sure it hasn't changed. I'm sure it can get overwhelming at times. So that's a good piece to keep in mind too. And whatever this community of practice, whatever kind of support groups are available, the community is the most important picture as well, the most important piece in the picture as well. So
yeah,
I appreciate all the ideas we've heard today very much.
Yeah. You know, one of my worst fears is always, and this is for me professionally and personally, I'm really good at starting a lot of things. Sometimes it's harder to follow through. And, you know, LaTanya, it's kind of that procrastination piece you mentioned. Hey, we all struggle with that. But you know what? A lot of times that procrastination really is? It's anxiety. You know, we see it as procrastination. No, okay, let's be real freaking honest. None of you are procrastinators. Do you know what procrastinators do or don't do? They don't get degrees. Real procrastinators, you know, they don't find themselves in these kind of situations. You all were picked. You interviewed for this. You have shown excellence and you have shown scholarly, you become a scholarly model for the people around you, and you don't even realize it. And so don't be hard on yourselves. We are dealing with COVID right now. Even if we weren't dealing with that, you're dealing with all kinds of things most people can't do, especially if you're a first generation student, because that is really tough. And so, you know, all of that to say, like, this is really important that we approach all of this with that understanding that we're all doing our best. And I truly believe that. So we're proud of y'all, and we're glad y'all are here. So we're going to wrap up for today. The intent was to do 2 hours. I have another meeting that's popping up. So if you all want to stay on and talk with each other for a little bit longer, you know, I'm going to leave the session up, but we would like to meet again next week. Is the same time, 9 o'clock on Thursday, good for most?
I usually have a staffing with DCFS in between 9 and 9:15.
Okay. Okay. So, would it mess anybody up to start at 9:30? Let's make sure because we want to. Sorry, everybody's okay. And every session is going to be recorded, and that's something that you can review later. It's not as helpful because you're not able to interact, but you know, we can also do things differently. We can split groups. We can do smaller breakout groups. We can do evening as well. You all just let me know what it is you need in terms of time, because we don't all have to be all together all the time. We can do smaller groups. I don't have to be on every single thing. And so, you know, feel free to, you know, to say what it is you need. You know, we can do smaller groups by region once you all are in your positions, because you will all graduate, I promise. All right, we are ensuring that. So Yeah. Any other thoughts? Any other questions about that?
And I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start writing down some tips and some tricks
Yes.
that I remember going into the field the first time, and I thought, oh, but I only known that, so I'll write that down and I'll share all that with y'all.
Okay.
We can talk
Please do.
about it.
Hey, put it in the knowledge base. Let's do a page
go.
called Jerry's Tips and Tricks. I love it.
There you go.
And I'll Jan, if you would you kind of introduce yourself again? I know everybody or most saw you at the orientation, but not everybody was there. Ann jumped on. Hold on, we can't hear you. Uh-oh. Can anybody else? Can anybody else hear her?
No.
Okay. Oh no. Oh no. So Jan, if you hit the arrow by your microphone, does it show it connected to your correct microphone? Or do you have headphones plugged in by chance? Oh no. No, we still can't hear you. Oh no. Well, I will introduce her for her. This is Jan Byland. She is the director of the Training Academy. She is a wonderful leader in all of this. She is why all of this is becoming as big as it is, all the leadership and the direction that has come. And so she is housed out of Baton Rouge, but also works from Southeastern from time to time. The Training Academy, as you all know, the Training Academy Moodle, it's the training group for DCFS. And so Jan Byland and Jerry are DCFS employees. And so we're all working in this alliance together to carry out all of this work. It's a big team effort. It really, really is. And so I'm grateful to have all hands on deck with all of this. Was that good, Jan? Okay, all right. All right, y'all. Well, thank y'all so much for being on this. Please make sure you record this as ours. If you would like to do a reflection on it, please feel free to do a reflection on it. I did get most of y'all fill out the survey that I posted. I'm going to put it on Teams so that anybody who didn't fill it out, because I need to know where you are in terms of your hours, just so that I have a sense of how often we need to do this. And Jan did message, hi everyone, so glad to be able to join you for a little bit. So make sure you fill those things out. I'm going to leave this session up. I'm going to stop recording, but that way I think it will allow me to save the recording. That way, if
Can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
I see that you have a recording. Will we get like an email after it's over with the recording? Okay. Okay.
What I will do,
a lot, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I will stick it in. I will put it on YouTube because that's the only way I can get it to all of you. So I'll put it on YouTube. You'll get the link. It'll be in Teams, and I'll email it. And if any of you are not getting my emails, check your junk mails. You might want to save me as a contact. That way it does come through. But yeah, definitely we'll have that available to everyone. All right, y'all.
Andrew, I have a quick question.
Sure, please.
Okay, on the Louisiana Child Welfare Training Academy site, for the courses, like on my dashboard, I have that I'm enrolled in 8 courses, and then beside it, it has course activity. It had 75. How do I access the course activities? Because I'm enrolling myself in courses, but I don't know how to get to the actual course activities.
Okay, let me connect you with Timothy by email. He can set up a time to talk with you. There's probably some button that has to be pressed, and somebody else did email me saying they were having trouble with the trainings. I will connect y'all with Timothy from the Training Academy. He's the little person, so definitely we can get that fixed right away.
And also, I want to say one thing too, because a couple of y'all have called me about this. There is no evaluation for y'all. The evaluation is strictly for real staff members. So when you get through, you don't have to take an evaluation, okay? And it's recorded because every time I've checked, y'all are doing them. They're in there.
And for our employee scholars who are probably looking at us like, what we did was to help them get field hours was they were given access to all the trainings that you all have access to on Moodle, things that they hadn't taken yet. So they're completing them and doing reflexive logs on them to get some of their hours. I did email that there are some workarounds in case anybody's struggling with hours. There are some other trainings that staff may not have access to. We can get you access to that to be able to do those for our credit. You would just need to talk with your field coordinator at your university, which would be Rhonda, Dr. Rhonda
Norwood.
Sorry, Miss Monique Hurst or Miss Evelyn Jenkins, just to make sure that they're good with that. I would assume they would be, because it's things that are going to enhance your learning to get you some extra hours if you're doing your field placement. And so, and then we have other ideas as well. We're going to be doing things through this. We're going to watch the Gabriel Hernandez documentary together and talk it through. So I'm working on sort of a question guide for that. And it's a pretty fascinating documentary. So even if you've watched it, we'll kind of watch it some together, either on screen, literally together, or off screen, you know, off Zoom, and then come back and talk about those things, because that's a powerful talk through. So, all right, y'all. Any other last questions? You can always email or communicate on Teams. If you just tag us, everybody will be able to see it. That's the good thing about Teams. On that one page, everybody can see our conversations. So if you have a question, somebody else may have it too, and it's an easy way to answer it. So